Hello YouTube modeling community, this is Rusty Rotor, part 6 of the Aquarod race team build. Today's episode, we will be in the spray booth, priming and painting the chassis and quite a few of the other little parts. Something else I was going to say. Oh, I'm going to, off camera, I'm going to try to change a little something. And then once I get it glued back, and then we'll head over there. I'm going to get over there and get the paint mixed up. Or the primer, get, all set and ready to go. Let's see what else. Can't really tell, but anyways, we'll get all this together, and then we'll get back into it, get on with the build, so to speak, and yeah, so I'll be back in a few minutes, guys, and we'll be over at the paint booth, getting everything set up, and then we will start getting everything painted and primed, or primed and painted. And I think that's it that I can recall. So, you know how it goes. I always forget something. But we'll see y'all in a few minutes. Okay, guys, I'm back real quick. Instead of using the gray primer, we're going to use the black 1500 Mr. Color. As you can see, I used the little Mexi cups. It's got the marks, and our little pipettes. I've already stirred the primer, but I like to take it out here and add it to our cup. Do all my mixing in the cups. Basically what I think it'll take. I mix it 50-50. I'll give it a minute to try to get all the paint out of the pipette. And I'll reuse this pipette to stir it up. The next is the Mr. Leveling, or Mr. Color Leveling Thinner, 400. Like I said, I mix this 50-50, so I just look and see what I got. I'm about 50 milliliters. So we'll go up to right below 10. There we go. Get our lid put on so we don't spill it. Yes, I have done that before. It sucks. And then we use our same pipette. And I just stir it up really good. And I suck it up into the pipette. Get my hand out of the way so you can see. And squeeze it back out. That way you get the extra primer that's up inside the pipette thin down too. That should be pretty good. And once you start spraying this, guys, if you realize maybe it's too thin, you can always add a little more primer to it, and back and forth, whatever, to get the ratio, what works best in your air gun. Today we'll be using, get it done coil here, my Pache. It's my favorite single action. I use the larger cup. This is a, let's put it this way. This is a 0.3. This is a 0.5. So I like to mix it up a little bit. I get a little bit better control, a little bit better spraying. Now on the standard two-stage like this little cheapie here, you know, you have to change the needle out and the head and everything else. So that's why I like this Pache so much, that I don't have to do nothing crazy to it. And once I get it up in there like that, then I just start screwing this down on it. I start with the valve being completely closed, and then I tighten up my little set screw there. You guys can see it's probably blurry. It's not going to focus quick enough. There we go. So now I'm ready. I'll put my cup on it. So you can see now I'm ready to go. We've got our primer right here. We'll move it over into the spray booth and put our lid back on our thinner. Alright guys, we're good to go. Give me a minute, get the camera set up at a different angle, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, we're back. Apologize for the noise. That is the spray booth going. It's my hands. Now we need to blow off all the parts before we start priming anything, and then we'll get them on their pins and we'll start spraying. So I like to use this other airbrush for that purpose. And once I blow everything off, I like to set it to the side for a minute. Set it over there, and we'll blow it off again before we actually spray it. But we do have some teeny tiny little parts. Alright, so now we got to create something to hold a part like this. Since there's no holes, we can't use a toothpick. So what I like to do in that situation is find the least, contact point, which would be probably this piece right here. And I'll just clip onto that because I can come back and touch it up with a brush. But at least I get the 90% of it with the airbrush. We just set them down on the way. Our engine, we will. Too big. Toothpick out here. Let's see what we can come up with. Too small. There we go. That's something to hold the engine. We'll use a clamp. No, use a better clamp than that. There we go. It'll sit down in there. Like so, and I can always adjust it. There we go, like that. These other little parts we're going to leave on the tree because we can touch them up with a brush. They're just too tiny, and I don't want to fool with a lot of tape on sticks. I do have a method for that, but at the end of the day, something like that we can hold it and paint it. This gives us a lot to hold on to. We're not using this exhaust, but these are our wheel backs. So we want to get them painted that black color too. Our fan shroud, radiator, and the two more wheel backs. I don't know if we use these or not, but I'm going to paint them anyways. We got these two wheel backs. I have to look at the instructions to see exactly which one we're using. Now where we got this and we got a hole, we will use a toothpick. I don't like to super glue my parts to something, even though I know it breaks off pretty easy. I'm struggling here. So you can see, I'll just stick a toothpick up through the hole, and that creates something to hold the piece. So now we're good on that. This is good. Same way with this, we know we got a pin in the back we're not going to see, so we can just clamp onto that and hold the belt pulley symbol. Assembly. This I will be cutting that little nipple off there to drill it out to put the coil wire into. It actually goes down in the intake. I'll cut the top part off and drill a hole for the wire to go down into. See if it'll focus for you. There you go. Just set that out of the way, and then we got the other wheel pin. Something I can't find it, so we'll use this. And we're just going to clip on right there like that, so we can get, and then we can touch it up. We can definitely hold on to this. I don't know what those two pieces are yet, but we're going to go ahead and get them painted too. The shocks, the same way. We use some of these longer ones. We're just going to clip onto the part that will actually go down in. We won't see. Nope. Another one. Same way. There we go. And then we got our pieces. So we'll remove this little turntable here. We don't need it. Got our primer over here, a little pipette that we used. Fill our cup up. That's good enough for the first time. And so, like I said, I like to, it's going to be hard to see, but we'll do it on this. So I've got it closed, so I turn it to where I just get a little bit out. And then go one more turn. And as you can see, for the first coat, it does nice. So right now we're just getting our tack coat on. If you notice it's not coming out good enough, you can always keep turning it to let the flow come out more. Which we will do. There you go. That's better. by spraying it this then, it actually, I mean, it's pretty much dry to touch now. When we start getting wetter, it won't be so. It'll be, gotta keep our fingers off of it. And this is the part where, get everything out of my way, we will set it down here and we will paint. Like I said, we're just trying to build up that tack coat. You don't have to go super heavy here. We're not worried about coverage yet. We're just getting everything kind of a light coating on it. So I got that pretty good. We can just take it and set it out of the way. We'll do our engine next. This will get painted Chevy engine orange. Anytime you do a metalizer or anything like that, you're good to have a black base coat. It makes the metals look a lot more realistic. Still coming out a little light. We'll open it up a little bit more. There we go. And drop the engine off the toothpick. But like I said, when you're spraying this light, everything's pretty much dry to touch as soon as you get it sprayed on. Now we can come back, because we don't need a lot on the engine. Just one good heavy coat. Again, a little different story now. Gotta be careful. There we go. And then just kind of look it over, make sure you got everything good. Like I said, just for the engine, it's going to get another color over it. It darkens everything, makes everything a lot better. So that's good enough until it dries, and then we actually do the engine color. Now we get some of our little parts painted, because these basically only get one coat. Set that out of the way. member. Believe it or not, even though it's on an alligator clip, you can still get in between the cracks and get most of it, so you got very little touch-up to do. Now I'll put a wet coat on it. Like I said, these little pieces will just be one coat. I just angle it in that mesh I have here and it holds it up. Get the shocks painted. Be black, but we'll get one good coat of primer on it. You can see, don't take much. Get our drive shafts painted, even though they will get painted in probably steel or something like that. It's just the black helps, makes that metal stand out. And we'll have to touch up where it's connected to the screw before we paint it. These will get brush painted, I don't airbrush. Plus, I can see I didn't get a seam, so I'll have to sand that down. But it's no big deal. The main thing is just get some coverage on it. There we go. Good enough. There's our trailer hitch, I believe. It's going to need to be cleaned up a little bit too. I didn't see that. But again, at the end of the day, it's no big deal. We got the majority of it on. And a little touch up with a brush, you'll never know. So yeah, there's that. Our two little mystery parts. Heavier coat, and even if we don't use these, then we can at least find out what they are, and we'll put them in a little Ziploc baggie and tag it what it is for a different build if we don't use them on this. Same way with all these little parts. I know the front shocks, and I think part of the trailer hitch, and I guess a pollution can. Get those painted. Basically one coat. It's going to get painted something different. This is that bearing for the two pieces of drive shaft. So we know that's black. Their shocks painted black. You know, they'll probably get painted blue. These little things are. There's our other wheel pin. You're never even going to see it. I don't even want to paint it. But it's fun to airbrush, guys. I love airbrushing. By the way, I'm spraying this at about 28 psi. Like I said, through the number 3 tube, or yeah, number 3 needle, and then a number 5 tube. So I just get a little bit more finer spray, I guess I could say, and it gives me a little bit more control. And with the pache, you can mix and match the needle and the valve, whatever they're called, the heads, and kind of play with it and get a custom mix of what you like the best and just roll with it. Now these, we want to get a pretty good coat on these, even though we'll have to touch them up a hair. Paint both sides, that way we don't miss nothing. Get on the insides real good. And we'll come back and we'll put another coat on that just to be safe. These other ones, same way, we want to get in there pretty good. Paint all around them. There's a little flash I gotta clean off of them still. But we still want to get them primed. There's nothing to come back and touch them up a little bit. Now we'll get our starter and our battery. You notice I'm spraying these that are a little heavier because I know these are just a 1 coat thing, because we'll be painting them with another color over top, and they're so small. It's not really going to matter. We don't need that heavy for that slow process of building up layers on these. Our final color will be the deciding factor on that. Here's our radiator hose. We want to get one good on this one because we won't paint this. This will stay this color, but we will clean up and touch up contact points, anything like that. Now we can get our fan assembly. And I'm probably only spraying, as you can see here, probably about 30%, if that. So it's easier to control the spray. So it don't come out too heavy, it doesn't come out too light. That's what I love about the Pache the most. It's so controllable. And you can get really nice, even coverage. This is my workhorse. I don't use it for clear coats anymore, but primers, paints, any kind of paint, it don't matter. It's just my number one go-to airbrush. I had one of these way back in the day. I used to do t-shirt art. And kind of like you see at the amusement parks, they'll paint a design on it, a face or your name. I did that, not at an amusement park, but I just did it for a little extra cash. I don't do it anymore, so sorry. My hands aren't as steady as they used to be. There we go. So we don't have to put any more coats on that. Now a fan shroud. Same way, it's small enough that we'll get one good heavy coat on it and call it good. And all we gotta do is touch up the contact points. Flip it over. Now we're putting our heavy coat on it. Flip it back over. And back with a heavy coat. That will get painted again, a semi-gloss. We'll put our base coat on our radiator, even though it'll be weathered up, make it look more realistic. And you won't ever see it inside that van, unfortunately. It's got pretty good detail. I'll hit it with a wet coat. Sets aside and let it dry. So now all we got left is our actual suspension. I was going to off camera try to cut this off and then heat it and angle it in, but it looks pretty uniform, so I don't want to fool with it. So we're just going to have one wheel turn, one wheel straight. Now when you got it all put together, it's a little harder to paint everything, but you kind of get in there and flood the areas. Constantly be looking for any white. The best thing about an airbrush, it'll get in all those little nooks and crannies. You just gotta make sure you're spraying right. And a little heavier than you normally would. See, we got in there and got everything coated pretty good. Back in here where you guys can see. Like I said, with the leveling tint in there, it dries pretty quick, so you can really see where you missed. Gotta have good light too, that helps. If you guys want to know the amount too, I'm using a large cup. I filled it about 3/4 of the way, and here's kind of how much primer we have left. I still have quite a bit in the cup, so by the two different sizes here, I spray less paint and get really good coverage, which is falling on a budget, making your stuff last as much as possible before you have to buy more. And I'm getting the same coverage you would if you laid it out heavy, it's just you'd waste more in the atmosphere painting than you do doing around this way. Now we're going to get this one coat on here, and then we'll come back and look and see if we missed anywhere, which I usually always do. We're just going for coverage, not being too picky. Remember, we got all angles and all sides of this to cover. And now you can see we're out. We'll just add some more. Always spray somewhere else first so you don't get no splattering. Come back over a little bit heavier on the flat areas. Make sure I didn't miss nothing. Put our little second coat on the gas tank. Now we'll let it sit for a minute. It's a little wet, so we want it to dry so I can get these little parts right here. Now this is where we'll come back over and start getting our final coat on. Firewall. And our fender wells. So you can see how much easier it covers after you put that tack coat on. you don't have to use as much. You get really good coverage. We are a little wetter, so we need to be mindful of where we put our fingers. That's really it. Now we can lay our still not going to have 100% coverage on this. We will have to go back and add another coat. You can see the wet spots, dry spots, so we got good enough coverage on it for now. All the other things, that's all we needed. This is dry enough now, we can come in here and hit these areas. Side rails. Guys, we're gonna let that dry for a minute. We'll be right back, and we'll hit everything with the final coat. Stand by. Okay, guys, I'm back. It's dry enough. We got one little light spot here. We can hit it with some air. Gas it the rest of the way out enough. We got pretty good coating on this. I'm not gonna lie, but I opened my valve up another turn. We're going to test it. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. We got about a half a thing of paint or primer. We're just going to come over here and hit this one more time with a nice heavy coat. We want everything to get really good, dark, rich coating. It's going to blend in a lot better now that we got opened up wider. The frame is going to cover this quite a bit, but we still don't want no white showing through. So we're just going to hit it kind of heavy, and we'll put it to the side and let it dry. And we will be ready to attach the frame. We'll get the floorboard painted and flocked. We'll do that by brush. Hit the pedals and the mat in here. That'll stay black. Same way as this one. And yeah, then everything else will get brush painted inside and then flocked. So we got our edges pretty good. We're gonna paint this black too. This will get body color, even though we will never see it. And we'll paint the upper part of our firewall black. That looks pretty good, guys. Set it down, get that little area there, and then we got a little bit of paint left, so we're going to check a few parts. We can always put another coat on the engine. It's not going to hurt nothing, especially the transmission. Just in case we did miss something, this will get everything that we missed. It's a pretty wet coat. There you go. Let that dry, get good and dry. Pretty much everything else is good. Check our frame one last time. I think we got everything pretty good. We don't want to waste our primer. It is mixed, so I'll use it up before I put it back in the jar. It's not going to hurt if I did put it back in the jar. There we go, guys. Everything's painted, primed, whatever you want to call it. A lot of times on my chassis and underfloor pans, I prime in black and I don't paint over it. And then if there's an area that should be shinier, then I'll just use a semi-gloss clear coat or a gloss clear coat over that flat, and it'll make it shiny. So I save a lot of steps. Like right now, I'm just hitting the rubber mat that's by the doghouse, as you can see, because we will probably leave that black. And we'll get these back wheel wells because we'll paint those body color. So we are primed. We'll just do a little wet sanding on it. Then everything else will be carpeted. And we'll get up there on by the foot pans and we'll brush paint to match the carpeting. I think that's all part of the rubber mat, so we'll probably just leave that the way it is. And we'll do some highlighting or something around it to draw it out. The doghouse will be the color of the carpeting. Wells or firewall one more time. Those will all stay black. Yeah, it looks like we got really good coverage, guys. So we'll turn it upside down. We're almost out of paint, so we're just going to keep going until we run out. Put another coat on the radiator. Nice good wet coat on that shroud. Set that out of the way. Hit our drive shafts one more time. And that's it, guys. We're out of paint. Out of paint, out of time. If you like this, guys, remember, leave a comment down below. The next segment will be us getting all this assembled, married to the floor pan, and getting our tires and wheels on, and having a rolling chassis. And then it'll be time to move on to the boat trailer, and we'll get the detail that goes on that on it. That way when we're done with it. And then it'll be on to finish up the body work on the van and start the body work on the boat. So be looking for part 7. How do you do that? Please subscribe, hit that like button, and that bell notification. You'll know when these videos come out. Again, I'm sorry for the noise, but you guys are right here in my spray booth. Again, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you to all my past, present, and future subscribers. Again, guys, let me know what you think. I know we're not very far, and there's not really much to go on, but you know, we do a lot of talking. So, if you got some other ideas, I'd be glad to listen and hear them. Until Monday, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. It's Rusty Rotor. I'm out.